What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and we are back with another deck profile today for machining and the archetype within Megacolony. This is going to be for the V-Series, so if you are someone who is new to Overdress or just want to pick up another V-Series deck, whatever the case is, maybe looking back to some of the old formats, like this is a really cheap deck that has a fully fleshed out archetype and has like a real game plan and strategy overall. So if you're looking for kitchen table Vanguard, just playing with your friends, having a good time, even something you can take to locals, things of that nature, and just really be able to maybe start jumping into the format, I think this is a really good entry point. Should not cost more than like $10-15 like max. Again, it depends on the prices at the time of your purchasing, but at the time of recording, this is an extremely cheap deck. So yeah, I just really like the archetype in general. I think Megacolony is a cool clan if you're into like a control style. This might be for you. So without further ado, let's hop right into the deck profile and I'll show you a test hand at the end. Alright, and before we begin, I just wanted to thank everybody so far who has subscribed. We're at over 500 subs now. I really cannot believe it. Really big accomplishment for this channel. Definitely appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, we have a little bit of something for everyone. Budget decks, competitive deck profiles, tutorials, talking, discussion videos. So go check it out. If you like anything, maybe hit that subscribe button, possibly leave a like on this video. But without further ado, let's hop right in. So we are starting off with 4 of the boss unit. This is an oldie but goldie coming out of the first set for Megacolony. This is going to be Machining Spark Hercules. Its skill, act on Vanguard circle once per turn, counterblast 2, choose 5 of our rear guards, stand them, and they get an additional 5k until the end of turn. And then we choose all of your opponent's rested rear guards, and they get all of our opponent's rested units, and they get minus 5k until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this is important text because even on their turn, their units are going to get minus 5k. On top of that, it says units, not just rear guards, like I accidentally said before. So that means their Vanguard gets the power minus as well. So this is really impactful. Just kind of that weird messing with your opponent kind of play style, a little bit of control, a little bit of like disruption. So very unique to this clan in general. This clan has like a hard time with its identity, but overall, it's really just messing with your opponent, I think. And its second skill is act on Vanguard circle once per turn. We can put a grade 2 or less card into our soul, and then this unit gets 5k until the end of turn for each of our opponent's rested rear guards, or rested units. So this basically just buffs up your Vanguard, gives your opponent like a minus on theirs. On top of that, just kind of messes with all their rear guards. So if they want more powerful ones, they're gonna have to call cards from hands to boost, or just replace them in general. So I know the Counterblast 2 is a little bit heavy, but now we're deep in the V-Series. There are a ton of in-archetype support for counter chargers, so it makes it a little bit easier to get this skill off overall. Moving right along to our next card. This is a more recent one, and I think there is actually a promo card. I don't think it was released in English. If it is, I just have not seen it. My mistake, I'm sorry, but this is going to be Machining Meteor Bullet. So this guy's skill continues on Van or rear guard circle. If you have 5 or more rear guards, all of your rear guards with the machining in their card name get boost. Its second skill, act on Van or rear guard circle once per turn. One other unit with machining in its card name, and this guy gets an additional 10k until the end of turn. So with the first line of text there, all you have to have is 5 or more rear guards. You don't have to have all of them being that machining name. There is just one card in here that we run that pretty much does not in the main deck have that machining name. So other than that, like you're pretty much set. This guy can boost. It becomes a 22k booster, which is really nice. If you wanted to have it in the back row, if you want to attack with it, that's fine too. Completely up to you. But you can have your your grade 2s up front, maybe be a little bit more shield focused with like an intercept or something, and still have the power from this guy boosting. So really nice card. It is essentially costless because the resting another rear guard doesn't really matter. We get to stand them up and off of the machining Spark Hercules, which is really good. So a lot of synergy there. A costless grade 3 is very nice. So the next card we have here is another grade 3. This is actually going to be a support unit. This is going to be Machining Centipede. Its skill, act on Van or rear guard circle, counterblast 1, choose the same number of your opponent's units as the number of your rested rear guards, and until the end of your opponent's next turn, they lose Twin Drive, Intercept, basically all their skills boost, and they cannot gain those skills, and we get to stand this unit. So you can basically rest this guy, give itself the 10k for the Meteor Bullet, and then use its skill to stand itself and also screw with your opponent's field. So you can choose your opponent's units again, and that means their Vanguard. So their Vanguard might lose Twin Drive. If you have like an annoying rear guard that somehow gets off with the drive check, whatever the case may be, you could turn that off as well. So if you are facing somebody who has only like 4 grade 3s in their deck and they don't have a lot of re-ride targets, they maybe are sitting on their Vanguard, this is a great card just to really mess with them. Moving right along to our final grade 3, I'm just running this at a 1 of. This is Machining Stag Beetle. Its skill, auto on Van or rear guard circle when placed from hand. Call up to 2 cards from your soul to rear guard circle as rest, and if this unit was placed on Vanguard circle, this guy gets the original attack of all power of all those units called with this effect until the end of turn. So if you need to, you can basically call this out on rearguard circle, pop things out, stand them up with this guy's ability. By itself, it's okay as a Vanguard ride. It's not the worst case scenario. If you're in a pinch and you know that you don't really have a lot of cards in hand, you can pop this down. It's essentially a costless essentially a costless card to get that out and get a little more power on your Vanguard circle. So yeah, decent card. I think at a 1 of, it deserves a spot in this deck. It's not as necessary as it once was originally in the V series. Moving right along to another oldie but goldie. I feel like a lot of original cards in this deck are here, but this guy luckily got reprinted, so it is pretty cheap. This is going to be Machining Mantis. Its skill, when placed on Van or Rearguard Circle, it is Counterblast 1. Look at 6 cards from the top of your deck, and then reveal up to 1 grade 3 card, and from among them, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. This guy then gets an additional 6k, so it becomes a 15k beater, which is really nice on Van or Rear, so not a bad Vanguard ride target if you need to go into this, just adding to the consistency of this deck and making sure that we don't really need that grade 3 searcher in our grade 1 lineup overall. So very, very good card. I'm glad that this did get reprinted, made it a lot cheaper. This guy was really expensive for a while, but now it is very, very cheap. Moving right along, then we're going to get into the rest of the grade 2s. I think we're only running 8 in this deck. I feel like you don't really need a whole ton in general, but this is Machining Scatterhorn, sorry. Its skill, auto on Van or Rearguard Circle. When placed from hand, look at 6 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 grade 2 card with Machining in its card name from among them, put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. If you put a card in your hand, put a card from your hand into your soul. Its second skill, act on Van or Rearguard Circle once per turn, Soul Blast 1, rest a Rearguard with Machining in its card name, choose up to 1 of your opponent's Rearguards, and that unit cannot stand during your opponent's next stand phase. So if you have a really, really pesky opponent, Rearguard on your opponent's circle, that can be kind of mitigated and shut off with this card over here. Again, just that's like the general theme, screwing with your opponent's field while buffing yours up. This also helps for the consistency play, so if you go into this grade 2, you can find that Machining Mantis potentially off of his search, and that's a free search, which is really nice, and then pop that to field, and maybe you didn't have the correct grade 3 ride target, but the Machining Mantis, with extending that play, just find that in your hand, which would be really, really nice, and secures your ride chain. So overall, I really like this card. I think that it definitely fits within the archetype. Again, just screwing with your opponent's field, which is really nice. It's a costless search. You just put a card into your soul, which this deck does run through a little bit of soul. I think we'll get to a little bit later what cards really use. Obviously himself, he uses it too, but yeah. We are then going into our next card, which is going to be our grade 1 lineup. This is another oldie but goldie. I think this is getting reprinted. I'm not sure. This is probably the most expensive card in the deck, if not this guy, the Spark Hercules. Sorry. Its skill. This is Machining Hornet. So its skill, auto on Van or Rearguard Circle. When its attack or the attack it boosted hits a Vanguard, look at 6 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 grade 3 unit card from among them, put it into our hand, and then shuffle our deck. If you put it into your hand and this unit is on Rearguard Circle, put this unit into your soul. So if you are going second, you ride this on Vanguard Circle, you swing, you hit, you can get that just search consistency. Also, if you boost with it, you replenish your soul, you also search for that as well, which is not bad. Like this is definitely a decent card, and I think sharing that Machining name is just a big plus for the deck in general. So yeah, definitely between these two and him too to an extent, I think you're definitely going to secure your correct ride chain for that Spark Hercules. Moving right along, this is a nice card to kind of fill our field with. This is Machining Cybster. So its skill, auto on Rearguard Circle. When rested by your card's ability, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, call up to 1 card with Machining in its card name from among them to Rearguard Circle, put the rest on the bottom of your deck. This ability may only be used by a card with the same name once per turn. So just really a good target for a rest. Like if you have to rest it off of him or something else, just pop him down, call it as rest. You get another kind of rearguard on your circle, so you don't have to call as much from hand. Again, just extending your play potentially a little bit more, just getting those bodies on board, making sure you can conserve that hand size, which is really, really nice. So I think definitely fits within the archetype, and it has that Machining name, so it is in here. Alright, and then lastly, for our last Machining card, this is going to be Machining Lady Bomber. Its skill, when placed, Soul Blast 1, rest this unit, choose any number of your fighter's rearguards, and rest them. If your opponent has 3 or less rearguards, you may countercharge 1. So again, just another countercharger for this deck, or actually the first one we're going to discuss here, sorry about that. We do have quite a decent amount of counterblasts in general, like this Counterblast 2 for him. It's pretty heavy. There's a Counterblast there, so just having that extra little counter charge is very nice, and it's not hard for your opponent to have like 3 or less, especially in the early game when you might want to just be spamming this to field, getting that off. Not too bad to get that counter charge, so you can have a little bit more resource later on in the game, and 10k shields are good too. Alright, let's go into our last card right here in the grade 1 lineup. This is going to be 2 of Stealth Millipede. So this, for the longest time, was such an expensive card, really expensive. It was a promo, but has been reprinted in the clan selection, so thankful for that. Its skill continues on rearguard circle. If this unit is rest, all of your opponent's rearguards in the same column as this unit cannot stand. Its second skill, auto on rearguard circle. When its attack or the attack it boosted hits, put this unit into your soul and countercharge 1. So again, a little bit more countercharge. Doesn't share in the machining name, but that's not a huge deal really. You don't really 1000% need it, and I think that it just kind of works in the same playstyle as like interrupting your opponent. You basically provide them with 2 scenarios here. If you let this hit, it goes into my soul and then your units can stand, but I do countercharge, which can be very impactful in this deck, as opposed to, you know, if you block this out, yeah, you obviously don't take a damage, but none of your units in that same column can stand. So very just tricky card overall, and decent card. I really like the idea behind that one. It's one of the better cards I think coming out of V design wise. Alright, moving right along, we're going to go into the trigger lineup now. I'm going pretty standard with this, 8 crit, 4 heal, and 4 of the draw PGs. Again, the PGs in the V format are actually these, the draw triggers in here. So these also got reprinted in the clan selection, so they should be pretty cheap. Typically, I could say you can swap one of these criticals for a draw trigger. I usually run my Megacolony decks like that, but I think overall, like, we hit nice numbers in this deck. Applying a little bit more pressure just with that extra crit, like, the standard 8 just works. I feel like it is pretty decent, but if you wanted to, you know, maybe last a little bit longer, you have, you know, making adjustments for your meta, whatever the case is, like, you can swap that in or out and just play with those ratios if you want, but I'm keeping it standard as of right now, and of course, 1 machining worker ant. So, yeah, that is the deck profile itself. If you guys want to stick around, I will be doing a test hand to show you guys how the deck kind of plays out and my vision of it. Alright, let's shuffle up over here and get started on a test hand. So overall, this is actually like a pretty fun deck. I think that it's probably not the most competitively viable in the world, but like I previously mentioned, like, this is a flushed out archetype. It has support within itself. It has its own game plan that it wants to kind of go along with, and might be one of the most flushed out kind of archetypes within Vanguard in terms of budget. So not too bad overall. Let's see, we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, this is a really good fun deck just to like pick up and try if you're into like a control kind of play style and you want to play some kitchen table Vanguard with your friends. I need to grade 1 and 2. I'm gonna keep 2 and be a little greedy here because I have my Vanguard and a really good support card for it. Let's see what I can do. I can get 1, 2, and 3. Alright, we don't have a grade 2, but not the end of the world. We can see if we can hit one before our grade 2 turn in order to ride properly. So let's continue to shuffle over here. Alright. We are then going to stand and draw. Alright, we do get a grade 2, very nice. We are going to then ride over here. We're going to draw off of the ride because we do that in V Premium, even if you go first. Pass it over to our opponent. We're going to take a damage for their turn. Oh no, that's a pretty good card. Alright, stand and draw for us. We are then going to ride into my Machining Mantis here. I'm going to Counterblast 1. Look at 6 cards from the top of my deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We are then going to pull a grade 3. We do have a grade 3 then. Okay, so I'm going to add that to my hands. We have a lot of different options. We have, I think, the full royal flush of our grade 3. So we have a lot of different options in our grade 3 turn. I'm going to have to think just what I want to do exactly. So let's see. So this is a budget deck, but there's still a lot of like thought-inducing plays that you have to know. We don't have a lot of shield value in our hand. No big deal. This guy does get an additional 6k, so we're going to swing at our opponent. Boom, we do get a heal trigger, which is, yeah, that's good, because we already used that up. Pass it over to our opponent. Let's take 2 damage now. 1 and 2 power. Alright, we're going to stand and draw now for our turn. So let's see, what do I want to do? I do want to be on this Machining Spark Hercules, so I am going to ride him. I'm going to grab a Protect marker. I'm going to put that in my hand. I'm just going to put that over there for now. What else do we want to do here? Let's see. Alright, well, we don't need the counter charger quite yet, so I'm going to hold on to that. I think I am going to then call down numero uno right. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. I'm going to call him behind my Vanguard just because I want a really powerful Vanguard attack. I am then going to call down the Machining Stag Beetle. I'm going to call out 2 cards as rest, and again, we will be able to, whoops, wrong one. We will be able to, do this here, not there. Yeah, let's do that. We will be able to restand them with the Spark Hercules over here. And lastly, we're going to play this card over here from my hand. We are going to play the Machining Centipede. I think I'm going to use its skill on that. I'm actually going to rest this guy. This one gets an additional 10k. I'm also going to use his skill. Counterblast 1, choose the same number of your opponent's units as the number of actually, no, we're not going to do the Counterblast 1 yet, because they're not on their grade 3 turn yet. I do need 2 Counterblasts for him, so it's completely up to me if I wanted to. I I could this would be a decent time to countercharge, but I'm just going to hold on to that. So I'm going to rest him, give him the extra 10k, and then I'm going to use his skill. I'm going to counterblast 2, choose 5 of our rear guards and restand them. They get an additional 5k until the end of turn. Choose all of your opponent's rest rear guards. They gain minus 5k until the end of our opponent's next turn. So we're really buffed up right now. If we want to, we can also put a grade 2 or less card into our soul, and this unit gets an additional 5k for all of our opponent's rest rear guards. It's up to us at the moment if we wanted to do that. Like, I could kind of do that right there, but nah, let's pass on that, because I think we're already, you know, this is 22k. This is going to be an additional 5, so this is 17, 5. That's what is that, 37 there, and on top of that, that is going to be minus 5k on our opponent. Yeah, so we're all right as is. So I think I'm just going to open up really strong with this big Vanguard attack then. Gonna go 1 and 2. All right, did hit a crit. I'm gonna probably put that, I'll put that over here. Let's say, yeah, let's do that. And again, our machining units do get boost because of his skill over here. So let's see, we're going to then swing. We are going to be 9k. Didn't get the extra thing. Yeah, this is 14k. Oh yeah, plus the extra 5k. I didn't count for that last attack, so that was actually more. This is going to be 17 plus 14 there. Swing, that is, what is that, 31. Going to swing over here is going to be 8k plus that 4, 12, or 5, I'm sorry, that's 13 plus 17. Yeah, so again, just really strong numbers overall. This is not like the most aggressive turn in terms of like multi-attacking, things of that nature, but the deck just really has a nice presence and overall like a hard-hitting punch. And as the game kind of progresses on and your opponent's in an additional state that allows them, you know, they have their field kind of set up, you can start screwing with them, because you can take away their twin drive, you can take away a lot of their intercept, do whatever gimmick their deck does, you can probably shut it off somehow within this deck. And there's a great way to get resources. Like, our hand's actually really nice. We have a good shield amount in our hand right now. We have our ride for next turn, plus I have my what was it, the protect marker still in here, so I think we'll definitely survive another turn and just kind of continue on with this strategy. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Alex from Team Generations. Let me know if you have any comments down below in the comment section. Happy to hear any adjustments you would make to the deck, but this is Alex from Team Generations signing out.